Hello everybody, welcome back to Elderberry Sprout. So today I wanted to get back in my grimoire, and I want to do something a little bit different. I want to go through and kind of update and decorate 5 of my pages in here. So these are pages that I've already started, but I just like to add more layers of meaning and add a little bit more aesthetically pleasing decoration to them. So let's get started. So the first page I'm doing is kind of the front page for my sigil section in my grimoire. And I created a sigil which happened to look a lot like a sword with an Ouroboros in the shape of infinity going around it. So I decided to kind of paint that on the front of this page. This is a kind of universal sigil for me that I can use in most of my workings just to signify that this is my true will and that this shall be so. So I thought it was fitting to put this sigil, a more decorated version of it, on the front of this page, since it folds out and all of my other sigils are underneath this. So this is kind of like a seal upon them that all of my sigils shall function as they should. Now I'm no swordsmith or anything. I can solder a little bit, but I'm not quite at that level of metalworking yet. So for this design, I kind of took a little bit of inspiration from Old Norse style of swords, and also for some reason, the swords of Rohan. I think it's the brown handle and the gold accents. While there's no horses there, it still reminds me of those swords. And here I'm just doing some decorations on the snake, having its underbelly be in a striped pattern there. I realized that there wasn't enough definition between the handle of the sword, or the hilt, and the snake, so I decided to add a little bit of red to that snake design. It kind of goes with this fire element that I'm also adding to this page. I feel like the sword looked a little bit bland, so I wanted to ignite my true will with fire here. I don't have a lot of fire in my astrological chart, so I do oftentimes find that fire is a good medicine for me. That's part of why I have a candle business in the first place. It helps to balance my energies, and it helps me to find my sense of self a little bit more. Being a Gemini, I kind of have a tendency to associate myself with whatever's around me, and sometimes that's not actually the case. I am not my surroundings. So fire allows for me to kind of create a limitation between what I am and what I'm observing, and that's extremely useful for me. So there's that page. This next page I'm designing over an existing page that I feel like didn't really fit in my grimoire. It was more of a story that I had already written in my Book of Shadows, so I didn't really need this page anymore. But I did need to write down my oil recipes, so I decided to put that on this page since it's right next to my gua sha, like facial scraping page. Seems like a good place for it to fit. So here I'm just using some textured papers to make kind of a layer design to cover up that spaceship. And then unfortunately I'm a little bit out of frame here, but I wrapped this recipe in the design of a corked bottle. Most of my oils I do store in glass bottles, so this is a good representation of that. And there we go. I'll do a reveal of all of these pages at the very end as well. This next page is my Pranayama and Breathwork page, so I wanted to add a label. I wanted to add more of an airy energy to this, so I wanted to do a design for the letters that looked like it was air flowing through. So just kind of like one long, winding shape that encompasses all of the letters. I also wrote all of this on this thin tissue paper, so it has a very light and airy energy to it. If you guys have never tried breathwork, it's an extremely powerful practice. Of course, use at your own discretion. And here I'm just adding a little bit of drop shadow to make it pop out a little bit more and blend into the background. And there's that page. Oh, the next page is my Tam Lin spread. Now, I love how this looks so far, but there's just that empty space in the top left. And for quite a while, I didn't know what to add to this, but then I ran into this page in one of my magazines, which was a lady sewing a hat, which is what the main character in Tam Lin is doing in the very beginning of the story. So I thought that was really fitting. And the reason she goes to the forest in the first place is to get flowers to flower her hat. So I thought extending the flowers from the right forest page to her household page on the left would be fitting. And I also found these cute little cows. I thought they would fit perfectly to kind of show more of her rural and semi-complacent lifestyle. Up until the time that she goes to the forest and meets Tam Lin. So to support that pattern of flowers going to the left side of the page, I needed to add another stalk. So I just found this little plant and cut it apart and glued it in there. And added some definition with a pen as well. If you guys ever have issues with adding definition or dimension to your pages, sometimes all you need to do is outline stuff. I love outlining. It may make things seem a little bit more cartoony, but it definitely adds a level of dimension. And if that's not enough dimension, sometimes adding a drop shadow underneath that outline can be extremely helpful as well. So for this page, it's all about the beautiful energy in the morning. And something I like to do in the morning time is to sit in my garden and drink my coffee while I go over my list. So I found this page in a magazine that has some raised garden beds, and I thought that fit well. This page on the right was originally from a Little Red Riding Hood children's book. A really fun practice is to look at the words that are on a page and then black them out to create a whole new layer of meaning for yourself. So in this case, I blacked out the page to leave the words, "Morning is a basket of good things. Now, right here, play and kiss." Which I thought was just a lovely sentiment to help me bring myself into the present moment. So I have this mug of a hot liquid, whether it be a coffee or a tea or shilajit, something nice and hot to warm up the beginning of my day. This piece of sky I'm putting here was originally cut out from the cows that I put on the Tam Lin page, so I'm glad I was able to rescue that piece of scrap since it has such lovely colors. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I really do hope this helps to inspire you to add more layers of meaning to your own grimoire pages, whether that be through painting, like in my Sigils page, adding scripty titles, like in my Pranayama page, or just adding more layers of collaging, like in my Tam Lin page. A grimoire is a great place to use any of these mediums. Whatever your heart desires, put it in your grimoire. Thanks for stopping by, you guys, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!